A very good day to you all. My name is Dylan. I'll be doing a quick presentation about the turndown of an airline for aviation 444, Principles of Transport Aviation. Professor Emma Carpenter is the instructor, and it's due on the 15th of February 2024. Alright, so the big topics that need to be discussed is what an airline focuses on now, what an airline should focus on, and the plans of future focus for longevity. The last two do go hand in hand in a discussion about what should an airline focus on and how that'll affect the longevity of that airline. Alright, so Delta Airlines is currently focused on many aspects of the future of growth. They obviously came out of the pandemic quite strong, and to be able to do that, they do need to focus on two major components in which they are. The first step is financial independence with minimal debt. So they are paying back those debts that they earned during the pandemic as well as what they borrowed with the federal government. And the second step is international growth through alliances and its own growth. Now, the improvement of its international market, both alliances and growth, does affect its financial independence as well, as when they earn more revenue, they will eventually become independent of that debt. Now, the airline itself is very focused on this aspect through many of its ventures, such as the SkyTeam Alliance, and you also want to focus on how the airline itself is partnering with airlines such as LATAM, KLM Air France, and other airlines to grow its international market with its purchase of the A350-900 Neos, as well as the potential purchase of the A350-1000s. These markets will make it grow larger, but also it is thinking about growing a little bit internally, i.e. Domestically, to allow for better connections for these passengers to better connect the world. So what should the airline do? This is kind of where the meat and bread of this conversation needs to be. So if there is a dip in the airline industry, such as what happened during the pandemic or 9/11 or 2008 fiscal turndown or anything like that, the focus should be on stopping any sort of financial bleed. For example, during the pandemic, how they solved the financial bleed was, essentially stopping all flights that were not making money, and more importantly, grounding aircraft that was bleeding money. The airplane in the air actually bleeds more money than airplanes on the ground if there is no passengers as a variable in them. So when you focus on trying to stop a financial bleed, grounding the aircrafts is something you want to do. Making sure the operation is sound and is exactly what you need is the benefit of how an airline will stop this bleed. Unprofitable routes not required by the government should be eliminated. That is, for example, when the government got rid of the route to Shanghai, the Chinese government getting rid of that route to Shanghai and Beijing and all these others, it was important to eliminate those routes as much as possible within the airline itself, so that there wasn't an unnecessary amount of staffing and other those types of issues, so that you were not financially burdened from things that aren't actually helping improve the airline. There are some routes that are required by the federal government, such as little airports feeding to the hub airports that are required by the airline and must be continued no matter what, but you can reduce the amount of flying if there's not as many people flying. Now, the next two are very important to my heart, specifically as someone who works in the airline industry. But an unpopular opinion is focus on what the passengers want. Profits are great, but the profits are only important if they are not above the comforts of the passenger. It is not benefiting the company if the profits are outweighing passenger comfort. And a lot of airlines seem to have forgotten this these days, and I wish they would maybe relook at this concept. But you do not want to take away a lot of benefits from airline passengers and give them zero in return. Kind of staying along with that route is staying within the moral compass of the company's guidelines or guidance is vital. So don't make promises that you cannot keep. These will make sure that an airline is remembered for the long term, and also ensures that financial stability is important for these airlines to continue operating well into the future. Have a great rest of your day, everybody.